You might be sitting on a small fortune right now and have absolutely no idea. Somewhere in a drawer, in a jewelry box, or at the bottom of a relative's belongings, there are old bracelets that look like nothing in particular. Pieces that nobody wants to wear, that look dated, occasionally even ugly by modern standards. And some of them are worth hundreds, thousands, or in the rarest cases, tens of thousands of pounds. The difference between someone who knows and someone who doesn't is what this video is entirely about. Starting with number 10. Number 10. Charm bracelets in rolled gold with original charms. A bracelet covered in small, mismatched, dangling objects looks cluttered and dated to contemporary eyes. The charms depict everything from tiny spoons to enameled shields to little silver bells. The overall effect is busy and old-fashioned, which is exactly why these bracelets end up in charity shop boxes for £1 or £2. What the uninformed eye misses is that a solid rolled gold charm bracelet with original, age-appropriate charms is a documented piece of mid-20th century social history. Each charm tells a story about where the wearer traveled or what mattered to them. Collectors specifically search for these bracelets, particularly those with maker's marks and charms from recognizable silversmiths. A charm bracelet with 10 to 15 original sterling, silver, or gold charms in good condition can sell for $300 to $200 at auction, depending on the quality and rarity of the individual charms. The clutter is the point. That clutter is a life recorded in miniature. Number 9. Victorian hinged bangle bracelets in rolled gold or silver. Heavy, stiff, requiring 2 hands to open and close, Victorian hinged bangles look cumbersome and uncomfortable by modern standards. The clasp mechanism is often ornate and slightly finicky. The design is formal and dated, which is why they get left unworn in jewelry boxes for decades. The reality is that a properly hallmarked Victorian silver or rolled gold hinged bangle represents craftsmanship that contemporary jewelry making has largely abandoned. The hinge mechanism alone required precision work. A solid silver Victorian hinged bangle with clear hallmarks and maker's marks can sell for $150 to $800 at auction, depending on the quality of the metalwork and any engraving or decoration. The fact that it's uncomfortable to wear is irrelevant to its value. It was never designed for daily casual wear. It was designed as a statement piece, and that design has only become rarer. Number 8. Bracelet watch cases in gold or silver with original leather straps. A bracelet that is actually a watch case, meant to hold a pocket watch converted to wristwear, looks peculiar and non-functional by modern standards. The leather strap is often worn, cracked, or dried out. The watch mechanism inside, if it still exists, may no longer work. The whole thing reads as a broken antique. Collectors and watch specialists see something different entirely. A gold or silver bracelet case designed to hold a late 19th or early 20th century pocket watch is a documented piece of jewelry history. Cases by known makers, particularly those in gold with hallmarks, can sell for $400 to $3,000, depending on maker, material, and condition. The non-functionality is irrelevant. The piece is now a historical object, not a working tool. Number 7. Rolled gold mesh bracelets from the 1930s and 1940s. Flexible mesh bracelets in dull rolled gold look cheap and dated, like something that should have turned your wrist green years ago. But rolled gold mesh is different from plating. The gold is mechanically bonded through pressure and heat, creating a bond that has often survived 70 or 80 years without losing the finish. Because the aesthetic is unfashionable and the word gold is not prominent, these bracelets get priced at $3 and left in charity shop trays constantly. A well-made rolled gold mesh bracelet from the 1930s or 1940s with maker's marks can sell for $80 to $400, depending on the fineness of the mesh and the condition of the clasp. The very thing that makes it look cheap is the exact quality that makes it have survived this long. Before we continue, if this is already making you think about a specific bracelet, subscribe now. The next video covers exactly how to identify hallmarks and maker's marks on bracelets without any specialist equipment, and how to get pieces valued properly. That information could be worth hundreds to you. Number 6. Enamel and silver bracelets from the arts and crafts movement. Bracelets with hand-painted enamel work in muted colors, irregular shapes, and deliberately imperfect finishes look like something a student made in a jewelry class. The enamel has often faded slightly. The colors are subdued by modern standards. The overall aesthetic rejects everything that contemporary jewelry training teaches about perfection and symmetry, which is precisely why arts and crafts bracelets get dismissed at estate sales. The movement itself, the deliberate rejection of industrial perfection, is now among the most sought-after British decorative art of its era. Unsigned arts and crafts bracelets can reach $300 to $200 at specialist auction. Pieces by documented makers climb considerably higher. The deliberate imperfection is what makes it valuable. Number 5. Lava stone bracelets set in gold or silver from the Victorian era. Bracelets made from volcanic lava, carved with tiny reliefs or polished smooth, set into gold or silver frames, look like something from a geology museum rather than a piece of jewelry. The stone is dark, the carving is detailed but subtle, and the overall effect is heavy and old-fashioned, which is why they end up unworn in jewelry boxes. What the untrained eye misses is that lava bracelets from the Victorian era, particularly those from Italy, where they were extensively carved and exported, are a specific collector category. A lava bracelet in a gold or silver setting with clear maker's marks can sell for $200 to $2,500 at auction, depending on the quality of the carving and the preciousness of the metal. The stone itself is not valuable. The craftsmanship of the carving and the historical significance of the piece is. Number 4. Micro-mosaic bracelets from the Victorian period. A bracelet made up of tiny pieces of colored glass or stone assembled into repeating patterns or scenes looks like a confusing collection of small colored squares to an untrained eye. The patterns are dense and overwhelming. The surface has often lost its original gloss. The overall effect is overwhelming rather than elegant, which is why Victorian micro-mosaic bracelets get left at the bottom of jewelry boxes. The labor required to assemble hundreds of tiny pieces of glass into a coherent design by hand is irreplaceable. A well-executed Victorian micro-mosaic bracelet in a gold or silver frame can sell for $600 to $4,000 at auction, depending on the quality of the work and the intricacy of the design. The very density that makes it look overwhelming is the exact quality that makes it valuable. Number 3. Bakelite bangles from the 1920s to 1940s. Large, chunky, in colors that don't match anything in a modern wardrobe, Bakelite bracelets look dated in a way that seems entirely negative until you understand that dated and rare are often the same word. Authentic Bakelite can be tested at home using the hot water test and the simichrome test. Bangles in rare colors like butterscotch, red, or deep green, particularly those with carved detail or unusual shapes, can sell for $200 to $1,000 in the UK collector market. Large statement pieces and matching pairs push higher. The size and color combinations that make it look impossible to wear are often the exact qualities that make it most desirable. Number 2. Edwardian platinum and diamond bracelets. Pale, delicate, almost invisible in photographs, Edwardian platinum bracelets with intricate settings and small diamond or pearl accents were the height of Edwardian luxury. The fine platinum wirework required skills that few contemporary jewelers possess. Because the aesthetic is so pale and fragile-looking, these bracelets get overlooked constantly at estate sales and house clearances. A well-executed Edwardian platinum bracelet with original stones in good condition sells for $2,000 to $15,000 at auction, depending on the complexity, condition, and maker's marks. The fact that it looks impossibly delicate and pale is precisely the point. That's what Edwardian jewelry was supposed to look like. Number 1. Silver mesh bracelets with original Victorian clasps. A fine silver mesh bracelet looks like something delicate that might fall apart at any moment, particularly if it's a century or more old. The clasp mechanism is often ornate and intricate. The mesh itself is flexible in a way that feels fragile, which is why these bracelets get stored away carefully and never worn. What most people don't realize is that well-made silver mesh bracelets have survived decades of existence without falling apart because Victorian craftspeople knew exactly what they were doing. A silver mesh bracelet with an original ornate Victorian clasp in good condition can sell for $250 to $2,000 at auction, depending on the fineness of the mesh and the maker's marks. The fact that it looks fragile has nothing to do with whether it actually is. But here's the one thing that connects all of these. Across all periods and all styles, the single most reliable indicator that an old bracelet is worth investigating is unexpected weight. A bracelet that feels heavier than it looks. A clasp that sits differently in your hand than you would expect. That weight has to come from somewhere, and base metals don't weigh the same as precious metals. If you pick something up at a car boot sale, a charity shop, or from a relative's belongings and think that's heavier than I expected, that's not a minor observation. That's a beginning. Trust that feeling. The jewelry industry makes its money on the pieces that look impressive. The collector market makes its money on the pieces that don't. Every expert valuer in this country has a story about something extraordinary that arrived in a carrier bag from a house clearance. Something that looked like nothing particular until someone paused long enough to ask whether it might be worth knowing more. The difference between that piece ending up at auction for thousands and ending up in a landfill is one person's willingness to look closer. Be that person. Tell me in the comments if you own anything that fits one of these categories. And if this video made you look at an old bracelet differently, share it with someone who's currently clearing out a relative's home. That share might be worth considerably, you think.